I do think it's gold when Christians excuse the genocides in the Bible by saying, well, the pagans were sacrificing children. They had to slaughter them all.
So just briefly, it should be noted that by all, it should be meant the combatants of Canaan. So like people who were in the military, not just all men, all women, and all children. But secondly, there are just wars, and I would like to think that if we found out about an entire country of people who were sacrificing their babies, that we would do something about that.
As if Christians' main pitch for their religion isn't that their God sacrificed his own son, but your God is set apart.
So I would like to think that everyone can appreciate the morally relevant differences between a baby who cannot consent being forced kicking and screaming by their parents to be sacrificed to a god versus God himself coming up with a plan by which he consents to being an adult, and then once an adult consents to being a sacrifice. In the biblical text, God is represented as both similar to, but also different than the gods of the ancient Near East and the Greco-Roman world.
He would never ask a man to climb to the top of a mountain and sacrifice his child. I mean, he might ask him to do it, but he would never actually have him go through with it. He didn't actually have him do it. Damn. He just needs you to be willing and able at any moment to do that. So different.
So you shouldn't be ready and able to do that at any moment. That's not really the application of the story that one should draw. But I think in terms of morality in general, it is relevant to note the fact that people will command things, but also have intentions behind what they're commanding that justify said command. In the case of God, we're told in the Bible that he hates this kind of sacrifice, so God's intention was not for him to actually go through with this, and the fact that he stopped them makes this point obvious. And it's hinted at in the text that Abraham thinks that his son and him will return. And then the book of Hebrews will go on to say that Abraham thought that his son might be resurrected. I'm not saying that this story shouldn't scratch our heads. I'm just saying that these are some considerations to make.
Would never use women and children as mere props. Just please don't read Job.
Characters serving a narrative purpose in a story doesn't necessarily make them mere props. But if we're assuming that Job is a historical work, we have to remember that God is empathically omnisubjective and omnibenevolent, so he certainly would have cared about those lives. And I know you didn't necessarily say this, but it's common for people to think that the firstborn in the Egyptian plague were babies or children, but that's not what the term means. The term in the ancient Near East and in the Bible means designated inheritor. There are other things that she says in the video, but I will refrain from comment because I have no opinion on those theological/political issues. But I hope that this video at least brings some considerations to you to help you think through some of these things, whether you're a Christian or a non-Christian. Comment your thoughts down below and follow for more.